broadcast and/or rebroadcast on WestfordCAT. We start with open forum. Mr. Jenowitz, anything for open forum?
Two quick things, Mr. Chair. We have a couple of public workshops coming up. One is this Saturday. It's for linked to livable neighborhoods, Littleton Road. That's our ongoing pedestrian plans being funded by the MBTA Communities Catalyst Fund. So that'll be Saturday from 10 to 3 at Neshoba Valley Technical High School. Essentially, there's a morning and an afternoon session with a lunch break in the middle. So you're welcome to come to both or one or the other, depending on your schedule. So anybody who's interested, there's also an online survey with a QR code on the flyer, also available through our town website. So again, that's Saturday from 10 to 3 at the Neshoba Valley Technical High School. We have a second public...
Before you go on, though, I think there's just one qualifier on this one so people understand the scope of the project. It's not all of Littleton Road in Westford. It's Littleton Road basically from Tadmuck and Neshoba Tech to the Littleton line.
Yeah, and some down powers as well, because it's all around our McLeod
and
overlay
down
district.
Powers. But it does not extend to the Chelmsford line.
So then we have a second public workshop for the Route 40 corridor study. That'll be from 6:30 to 8 at the Senior Center on Tuesday evening, the 27th. So again, Senior Center at 6:30 to 8 on the 27th for our Route 40 corridor study. That's it.
Great, thank you. All right, so we have a couple public hearing items that are going to be continued. First, PB 2534, 400 Littleton Road. Applicant has requested this matter continue without discussion to February 2nd, 2026. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
At 7 o'clock.
Amendment to say that it's at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
in this room.
Motion and a second. All those say aye.
Aye.
PB 2536, 37 Powers Road. The applicant has requested continue this matter without discussion to February 2nd, 2026 at 7 p.m. in this room. Is there a motion?
Second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have PB 25207 Carl Thompson, a modification to a previously approved site plan. See Mr. Waterman. We have,
I
waive,
move that
thank
we
you.
waive the reading of the public hearing notice for PB 2536.
Motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
I apologize. Friendly amendment 2520, my bad.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And then a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Before we begin, just for the benefit of the folks here in the audience, they came before us 2 meetings ago with this as a minor modification. I won't speak for the board, but it was my feeling, and I think the feeling of the board, that most of it was minor and could go forward at that time. However, Bob suggested, and I feel was a great suggestion, that the public should be able to weigh in on the new lighting plan. So with that, Mr. Waterman, unless other questions come up about the other things, if you want to just deal with the lighting plan at this point, we can.
Sure, and I appreciate that, and we'll give a quick overview, but we will focus on lighting. For the record, Matt Waterman of Lantec Consultants. Here with me is Sean Nichols from New Quality Fence Corporation. And I think as the chair just stated, we were here at your last meeting on December 15th, and we were asked to formally resubmit with a public hearing notice and formal abutter notification, which we have done. This project was approved back in, I don't know, maybe 4 months ago in 2025. There was previous approvals back in 2024 for a much larger facility. Sean came in with his company and contractor yard to kind of rehab the existing building, and we got approvals. And now we're here tonight for a formal modification. There's no change in operations or the building layout. It was kind of more value engineering, proving efficiency on site. They've been crunching their construction numbers and evaluating the plans with their subcontractors, and this is kind of a result of that. We're here actually for 5 modifications. I think as the chair said, most of them are fairly benign or consistent with the approvals. And that includes the stormwater management system. Previously there was a larger open basin in the middle of the yard, and so we would be providing that as a subsurface. It's all the same performance standards of stormwater management. It would just be subsurface and have the ability to store or have additional yard space. It's located in the same area, same volumes, capturing the same area, so there's not really much of a change there. There is out front on the, if you're looking at this plan on the screen, far right, there's a red hatched area of additional tree line. And Joe, if you scroll north just a little bit, previously when we came in a couple weeks ago, we had an informal discussion just while we were here. It wasn't binding or anything, but we did get some comments about some of those trees along the southeasterly property line. As you're looking this, there's a dash line. And so we did, since this last meeting, we did shift that limit of clearing to the north and west to preserve about 8 or 10 trees that were previously shown to be cut. So there is one change there, and that was reducing the amount of clearing to maintain more of a buffer along that southeasterly property line. So you can see kind of in the lower part, there's the new landscaping berm, and then we kind of extend that existing natural tree line along those lines. So it's about 2,000 square feet. The smaller trees are the ones to be cut down. The larger tree symbols are new plantings. Paving, that's just around the building, and that was just more kind of clean up. We were trying to minimize, of course, being engineers and drawing straight lines. And Sean looked at it and felt like that if we were going to have this pavement, so he wanted to have a cleaner site around the building. The parking hasn't changed, the configuration of the line work, and what we presented to the board for the approvals back in December, with parkings and how those parking spaces are utilized. It would just be kind of filling in some of the gaps with plowing and gravel and just trying to have a somewhat cleaner site around the building. The entrance gate, this is really, it was further to the left. If you're looking in the middle where Joe's pointer is going, and if you go up the entrance road, that gate used to be about 50 feet to the left right there. I'm at the point. And it just shifts to the right, and that gives them the ability to just have more yard area inside that gate. It doesn't change the traffic flow. There's still enough room for a vehicle to come off Carl Thompson. There'll be a kiosk. It also did line up the fencing with the automatic slide gate. There was an improvement with that. Before, the slide gate would go out to kind of an exposed area, and now that gate lines up with the existing fence, which is a better design. It helps protect that gate when the gate is open and people aren't crashing into it and breaking the gate. And lastly, I think, as the chair said, the lighting. And Joe, if you want to go to the lighting plan, there was some additional thought, and especially right when the dark nights set in and Sean starts to realize how dark it is and the facility and thinking about operations. The preference was to add some lighting. We did try to keep that lighting consistent with the approved lighting, downward facing, dark sky friendly, LEDs that have a smaller spread. They're more fixed, below the light fixture, the spread of the light. And so you can see there's 5 new kind of egg-shaped circular lighting contours that go along that southwesterly limit of clearing, and there's one to the right, and then 4 across the bottom. And we tried to keep those spaced out, minimized. We didn't want to put too many, but Sean felt it was important for not only the safety, but vehicle movements. From that 4 o'clock to 5:30. That's their typical hours. But we did take also some of the general comments that were raised. All the lighting would be on a timer where they only operate from 5:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Those automatic timer would shut them off at night at 8 o'clock. But I think Bob had made the recommendation to include a manual shutoff. So if it's not needed, last person leaves, shuts the lights off. It was a good recommendation. He checked with his electrician, not a problem. They will be able to incorporate that so that we're not leaving the lights on unnecessarily. they're not there till 8 o'clock, and Sean can certainly talk about his operations. I think that the goal was just those occasional nights where they need to have one crew there to load up for the next day, so they do want that option, but typically they are not there that late, so that manual override was a good idea. And then the only other comment we had submitted was, we were kind of waiting to get the final review and input from the board before addressing the final engineering comments. We don't have any issues with the engineering comments, and we lightly touched on this at the last meeting, that if the board was to move forward, that any approvals include the condition to address the engineering comments. And we'd be happy to do that. We have no issues with addressing those comments. It was just a matter of getting through this process first. With that, we'll turn it over to the board if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Wadman. Joe, is there any update from engineering beyond what's in the package?
So they were waiting to see if there were any additional comments from the public hearing tonight, but they do have comments drafted. I believe they've been in contact with Mr. Waterman. Don't foresee any issues with addressing their comments, but just to know if there's going to be anything else that would come up tonight that they'd have to additionally review.
Great, okay. Bob?
Just so it's in the record, could we just repeat what the normal times for the lights to be on would be through automation?
Yeah, they would be, the timer would be, they'd turn on at 5:30 a.m. and turn off at 8 p.m.
Okay. And then there'd be a manual override for when you left for that day?
Correct.
Okay. Is it possible to have a phone number that they can call in the event it got forgotten?
There's gonna be.
If somebody leaves, the last person that leaves the yard and they leave the lights on, what do the neighbors do to address that? Do they wait for 8 p.m. or is there going to be could they have a number they could call so somebody in operations with the company could get the lights shut off?
It's not uncommon for us to, like, I know with pump alarms, you have to post like emergency contact.
Yep.
We could certainly put
Okay.
that at the entrance gate. Probably it extends further than just lighting. I think it's probably the police and fire would not disagree with that. It's probably,
Okay.
it could accomplish a lot of different.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everything that we discussed last time is on the record tonight, because this is the formal hearing. The only other comment I'm going to make is I did visit the site today. I didn't go on the site, but I was out in the street with the highway department who was resting plows out there. I guess I was struck by really how small the site is. And right now, how wooded it is. And the trees, I appreciate, moving the gate to do that, but that is going to open up more of the yard, and those trees are the only buffer right now between the adjacent properties. I was shocked at how close everything really was on that site. Between, was it number 3, the adjacent business, the driveway, and the 2 or 3 homes that are shown here. So it's going to be really important that the screening be working and make sure the lights are not too high, but have sufficient shades as well.
The lights are way set back from the abutters on the side, the house is over here, so there's gonna be a really big front lawn, and the lights are, nothing is facing towards any abutters, it's facing into.
Inwards. But again, I think as I mentioned last time, it is a small site, and while it will face away, the closest light will face away,
Yeah,
it will be more visible across the site to the adjacent properties. So that all has to be factored in, I think, to make sure that the aim of the lights is away from all residents, both behind and out in the distance.
So just so I'm clear, those contour almost lines, that's really where the light's gonna go, is that correct?
It's the spread of the light in foot
The
candles.
strength and the spread of the light in terms of.
So obviously the center,
Brightest.
10-foot candles, and then it goes down to 0.1 and then 0.5, 0.2. So that's, the intensity as you get away from that light fixture. And the light fixture is the circle with the crosshairs in the middle of those contours.
What's the planned height for those poles?
14 feet, which allows for a 10-foot pole on a 3 or 4 foot concrete bollard. So that's typical for like site plans is you have that concrete bollard for, so cars hit, or vehicles or whatever, you know, and so.
Okay. All right,
That's
John?
it.
Okay, so my only question is, you have that really good screening on the, let's see, kind of on the easterly side, right there. I guess I was wondering, for that particular light pole, and I know we walked the site, but honestly, I don't recall how many of the trees in the tree line are really evergreen. If maybe you could get a few more big evergreens in there to kind of buffer, and Joe, can you go down a little bit? Yeah, so you could buffer from number 6, and then the same thing on the other side, buffer from, you know, so that maybe with evergreens, you'd get, you know, less, they'd be less, especially at 5:30 in the morning, that's pretty early. You know, so I'm just trying to make.
No, and I think majority of the trees out there are coniferous, like the tall mature pine tree with a mature canopy height,
Okay.
you know, of whatever, 60, 70 feet. It is primarily a sandy soil where you do see those pine species. I know in the past, planting something smaller in that canopy, but, I mean, we could certainly do some like sporadic, like rhododendrons and that type of stuff, or a mountain laurel, that really could, I think, survive in that shaded area where you could sporadically plant. And those tend to hold on to their leaves year round, so maybe not an evergreen, but something, or an evergreen, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Something that's kind of shorter and would fill in those gaps.
Yes, that would work too, like a
I know we've done
rhododendron.
that before, so either or, and I know those rhododendrons can get big,
Mhm.
exactly. So we could certainly accommodate that with an updated landscape plan, or, you know, we could work with Joe on that. I think it would help fill in some of those gaps.
Yeah, if we could just fill some of the gaps a little bit, so that, again, especially that, you know, 5:30 in the morning is a little rough.
Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Dylan?
Nothing in additional to my colleagues, and need the applicant to reply to engineering's comments, because there's some stuff in there that warrants discussion, but until we see the applicant's feedback to that, I don't think it makes sense to discuss it. Thanks.
Aaron?
No, I would just add, on the lighting plan, that the hours are only for the hours of operation, right? So on a Sunday or something, you're not open, your lights shouldn't be on, right?
No lights on the weekend, no.
Yeah, okay, perfect, great. Yeah, otherwise, as long as engineering's happy with the plan, I'm all set.
All right, we'd like to open up to the audience, if you'd like questions, come on up and ask, well, please come up to the microphone, name and address, please.
Hi, my name's Bill Manilopoulos. I live at 473 Groton Road. I live directly behind the existing building right now. My concern is just the lights that you were concerned about shining across into the back of my home. What do you think about that?
So, I'm trying to think of where you were on there.
I'm right behind, exactly behind the existing
Okay.
building.
Straight up from number 5, I think.
Yeah, correct.
Right
It would
there.
be probably in that area if I had to guess, and
Where?
I think your house is kind of where Joe's
The
scrolling
arrows.
it up, and, you know, Groton Road is on that northeast side of the plan as we're looking at it. And all of the lighting that we're talking about or adding would be kind of on the south side, and they're all, like I said, downward facing, dark sky friendly shielded lights, so not that you
Well,
won't see
looking,
the light, but I don't think you'll
looking at the
see.
diagram, right? If I walk in back of my house,
Mhm.
and I walk directly straight, I'm gonna run right into the back of that building. So I'm not to the right of the building.
All right, so go down over, Joe.
I'm worried about
Other way.
those lights right there.
Up.
See the light?
Right, so I don't think there is anything behind the building.
No, but I'm sorry. Those lights to the left-hand side corner, those, right
Yes.
there. Will those be shining into my house?
They will be facing Groton Road, yes. Those lots that
That's
are
a
in the.
concern for me.
But the intent is that there is a shade on it that limits the throw out, okay? And that's why I'm asking about the height, and we're asking
Right.
about.
Well,
would be
14
visible.
feet is pretty high, isn't it?
It could be much higher.
Yeah.
It's high enough.
Well, that's my concern, so I have to leave it to you guys, to you people to kind of ease my concern. Are those lights gonna be shining into the back of my house?
So again, sir, I think if you look at the circles around the light, that shows the intensity. So I think if you go out on your back porch, you're probably gonna see a light, but it's not gonna be lighting up your backyard.
You should not be able to see, for example, the light bulbs.
Yeah, you'll see a light.
You should be able to see the light dispersion on the ground and the trees. But we're hoping that there is not a direct line from your line of sight at the light bulb, because the light shade should be preventing that.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't be
There
like
will be reflection
casting
off,
light.
there will be some spread, minor reflection off of objects on the ground. But with those intensities, we're hoping, and the plan is that it would be very minimal.
And I think you're a pretty good distance away.
Yeah, I think I am too, and I like the idea about the automatic timer, that's great, I appreciate that, and people leaving and shutting the lights off. If that's what's gonna happen consistently, that would be great.
But in addition, the automatic timer would take it up to 8 PM every night.
Right,
We've asked that they put a manual override on, because I think in talking with them the last meeting, 6:30 is probably a typical time for them to leave.
well, that's what they
the yard,
said at that
And that would
original
turn it off,
meeting,
so
right,
the manual override is a safety measure, so it doesn't go any later than that.
right.
Yeah, unnecessarily.
Darren, you have something?
Yeah, I think also that storage corral is gonna be between, I think, your house and that light as well. So that's gonna probably block some of that as well.
Okay,
And
all right.
just because I didn't know, could you go back, Joe, to the lighting plan diagram? So the last ring that you see there, right, the furthest one out from the light pole is 0.2 foot candles, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with foot candles, but I wasn't, so I just looked it up. 0.2 foot candles is apparently the light of a dimly lit hallway or a moonlit night, is what Google says. So, in theory, at that distance of the last ring around it, it should be as bright as a dimly lit hallway or a moonlit night. So, the one thing we might want to do is get engineering's opinion on visibility to that, if they have expertise in that area, and sort of opine on that. I certainly don't think it's something that would be beaming into your house,
Right.
But I do think you'll obviously see it from
Right.
your backyard. If you
Right.
look right at it, you would, you'd see.
What they're
the
gonna
light.
see is the bright light throw
Just a
at the
light,
base of the
like a
pole.
flashlight.
They're not going to, it's not gonna spread light
Illuminating his
on,
backyard.
Yeah, right.
but they are going to see bright spots on the ground.
Depending on their vantage point to the ground, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else in the audience?
Congratulations. It's nice to see businesses coming to the area, and it's good for all of us. And I like the business, right? It's fences. I don't have a problem with this. This is good.
We need your name and address for the
Yeah,
record.
Alisa, Nicashin, Holzberg, Betty Lane. I have a few questions, if you don't mind. We've been using that back driveway for 34 years nonstop. So I wanted to know, are you envisioning any changes to our using it to be able to get to our garage?
No.
Because I'm not envisioning any changes, right?
No,
Okay.
no, and I think the site, I don't mean to interrupt,
Yep.
Chair, do you mind if I respond directly?
Please do.
We did leave that as to remain, and then I think what we talked about with the 2024 approvals, was putting in that berm or the, you know,
Yes.
to keep drainage that's intended to stay in Carl Thompson from going down into your driveway.
Very good. Thank you
So
for saying
all
that,
of
because I
those-
remember her saying that, and I just wanted to confirm it. Thank you.
So that
Excellent.
is still shown on the approved site plan for this project and modification. So there were no changes.
And since I'm not an attorney and I don't do what you guys do, it's not clear to me how this plan and the other one with the big building from one end to the other coexist, right? So I don't see that on this map, on these pictures. Am I missing something? Or is it here?
What was the question?
The other large building that's going from one end to the other.
That's gone.
That's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So we're just doing fences?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are great.
And we're keeping the building, the existing building there, and just rehabbing the
Perfect.
existing
It's a lovely
building.
building. That garage in there is really nice. Okay. Okay. So you're talking about taking out some trees, and I saw some comments in the packet about having to have hearings for trees or whatever. I don't know what side of that berm, looking at the diagram, is on, but there's an awfully tall tree that's pretty close to our garage that, if you're gonna be in there doing anything, could we get rid of that? Because I'm always worried about that thing toppling over and taking out our.
We could certainly, if the board
It's
has no
on,
problems with Joe, and, and I know have all the hay bales and everything kind of marked, so
Yeah.
it's easy to kind of find your way out there right now. We could certainly meet with you and Joe and just kind of mark that tree.
We can't
and-
touch it because technically it's not on our property, but at the same time, I just look at it and I'm like.
Yeah, a lot of those trees fall on that kind of rock berm that's kind of there that was, I think, when they put in the water line. And so those trees that you kind of see on that line that we kind of shifted our tree line, a lot of those fall on that line. So I think, if I had to guess, that
Let's take a look at
that
it.
tree would be one of them.
Okay, all right, that would make me feel better. Now, so the other plan that was approved, even though that building's not going in, it still applies or no? Because we
So
talked
there's
about,
been another one since then.
I gotta keep up. Okay, so we talked about arborvitae plantings at that line so that there would be coverage in the winter too. And that, is that still in play? If not, can we make sure it is?
Yep, no, and again, Chair, if you don't mind,
Please do.
the landscaping plan that was approved for that original larger 25,000 square foot building, all of those elements were kept on this plan or improved upon down in not by your property at 6 Betty, but in the southwest corner. There were some additional plantings that were put in place. And then they're a fence company, so.
Yep, you answered the next question I was gonna ask, because I don't wanna consider just myself, I wanna consider my neighbors too. So if you're gonna do that
So
all
you
around
can
this.
see those, all those plantings
Yep.
along that kind of westerly end.
Excellent, okay.
And there's a fence that goes in, and I believe one of the neighbors also just put in a fence, so there's gonna be a, kind of a no-touch zone. There'll be a fence, and then there'll be some plantings, and then there'll be a fence.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a demilitarized.
The squirrels will hang
That's
out
great.
there, someone.
Fox, whatever. That's great. Deer. And then, I apologize. Like I said, it's been 30-something years since I've been here, and I don't remember. Haystack. Didn't Westford ever have intention to keep lighting down low so it wouldn't impact them up there? Am I wrong about that?
Bob, you can answer that question.
The haystack.
Did that go away? What happened?
No, we have a gentleman's agreement between the town
Oh,
and MIT Haystack to limit light pollution.
okay.
That's always been a factor in our master plan for, I don't know, 20-plus years that I've been involved with
That's
it.
what I thought. That's why I'm asking. Okay.
And so that's been a factor in every development in terms of using shading that throws the light downward as opposed to allowing it to go skyward.
I see.
This is the lighting that we've been requesting people to use.
Okay, so the reason why I ask is the other business that's on Carl Thompson, he's been a wonderful neighbor. I mean, worked with us and everything. I think I told you guys this already. But the lights went up and it like beams right into my daughter's window. It's just, it was awful. And he said, I don't get it. We spent money on purpose to make sure it wouldn't be a problem, and yet they go on at night and it's just, the bedroom lights up. It's awful. And we're talking like, what, 200-300 feet from, it's a ways. So I'm looking at this on the map and I'm thinking, I get it that on paper it says this, but I've got personal experience with what's in the neighborhood. We've already got a lot of light on Carl Thompson with the other business. It's not on your property, but if people are coming towards you, there's already a lot of light going on both sides of the street with Laval and the tool place. And then there's Beyond Components that's just right in front of you. And they've
So-
only got really dim light, but they've got light going on. I'm just wondering,
So anyways,
do
I
you
think,
really need all that?
so we don't drag this on. If it gets installed and you find a situation
Yep,
where
yeah.
there is light coming directly at you, please report that to Joe or Jeff, because this plan approval here is going to have language in there to prevent this.
Okay.
And we will address it. We will have to take it up.
Okay, I'd rather have a gentleman's agreement, though. We'll just reach out. Take Chairman?
Sure.
And, yeah, if not, then we can talk to the town, but
Sure.
I think we'll figure it out, okay. And you already talked about the hours, and you already talked about what's the procedure if the lights are left on. I think I got it, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Ready to go back to the board, thoughts, comments? Well, first of all, any issues on anything besides lighting? Anybody have any issues on?
No.
No. Are you guys comfortable saying so long as engineering signs off, that we're good with this?
Yeah.
All right, so then can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Can I get a motion to
Well,
approve?
we need to take a vote.
Well, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve PV 2520, Carl Thompson, modification to previously approved site plan, subject to discussion tonight and review by engineering.
So moved.
I guess what we'd be doing here is referring it for additional administrative action by staff with this vote,
If necessary.
if necessary. So engineering or any other minor comments come in.
Well, one question, we don't have the applicant's response to some of engineering's comments in the packet. And specifically, there was one about a grass swale. Now, I'm not sure if that's the same grass swale that you just referenced.
No, and we did, and I did speak with engineering after our plan. So we did show that kind of swale being reintegrated back into the plan, but we didn't address all the engineering comments. So I kind of did show that because I knew that was one of the kind of his critical path comments. And so we did, you can see it on this plan, that red line.
That's the
But
grass swale?
then we didn't address all of the engineering comments, so they were gonna wait till all of them were addressed. So we did address that on the plan by showing that we would be incorporating that swale back into the plan. So that is provided on this plan set. I did talk to them and they were appreciative of that, but then they had more questions of what was done, what wasn't done on their comment letter, so.
I guess my question, Mr. Chair, is that there's still back and forth between the applicant and engineering. And do we want to close, do we want to close this fully, or do we want to see the back and forth and the resolution of engineering's comments before we close?
If I could make a suggestion.
Please.
So we could always draft a decision for your next meeting in a week and a half. That could give the applicant an opportunity to resolve any outstanding engineering comments, or we could look to craft them as conditions of approval within the decision letter. You all could review that. The applicant can have a chance to review it as well. So we could do that for the February 2nd meeting, where you just review the decision, if you'd like that.
Yeah, I mean, so in my opinion, I'm comfortable so long, we're not gonna sign a decision unless engineering signed off on it. So, I'm comfortable moving forward, let them work on it. If there's an issue, then, we'll have to come back.
Okay.
That make sense?
It's fine.
We've closed the public hearing, but
I understand that, not speaking to the public hearing, just speaking to the procedure. So if there's continual conversation going on with engineering, I don't expect any issues, but I would like to make sure the public's aware of that content. And if that would warrant the community saying, could you please reopen the public hearing so we could comment on it, that should be a possibility.
So
if that conversation's still ongoing.
So in my opinion, first, all of that was minor and could have been settled when they came before us before, okay? So it really didn't warrant a public hearing on that. However, we did ask them to do that because of the lighting, so we felt that the residents should have an ability to sway in on that. So on the other side, engineering comments are basically what they want to see on the plan and what's there and what isn't there. I mean, in my mind, it's just technical stuff that they need to work out between the two of them that isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't think it would be, but, I mean, I don't know if somebody looks at the material and says, wait, that's gonna impact my septic, or that's gonna impact my.
Well, so that's why we have engineering reviewing it, right? So that's their job. So what my point is here is that I think that we can move forward now, engineering and the applicant can work out whatever they need to work out. If there's an issue, then they'll come back before us, and we won't sign a decision. Mr. Waterman.
Yeah, I think all of our correspondence will get posted on the website.
We could certainly do that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking that be the case, so that if.
It's public, it's all
Okay,
public.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
All right. Anything else? Okay, so, did I make a motion? Was there a motion
Yep,
made?
I made a motion.
Johnny made a motion and Darren seconded, but you didn't take a
Are you
vote.
good with this? Then all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. And when's the next meeting for decision?
February 2nd.
February 2nd. Thank
We
you.
need to. How do we do this? Do we have to continue this for discussion on the second?
No, we're done. We'll sign the decision unless there's an issue.
Okay.
Okay, moving on, we have a new public hearing for PB 2601, the first one of 2026, 79 Powers Road and others, the Neshoba Valley Ski Area, definitive subdivision plan. Can I get a motion to waive the public hearing reading?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Attorney Robbins?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, Attorney Melissa Robbins, here tonight for Neshoba Valley Ski Area, and Al Fletcher. We're here tonight for a definitive subdivision. Also with me is Matt Waterman from Land Tech, the project engineer. As you've stated, we're here tonight for a definitive subdivision application. We did receive preliminary approval from this board in September for 3 lots. As you may have noticed on this plan, we've modified the 3 lots slightly to be 2 lots. There was a question in the staff report about the status of the road, should we ever build this, which is not the intention, but the roadway would be private. As the staff report also indicates, this is the second step in a 2-part process to secure zoning protections for the property. We've also applied for the required stormwater management application as part of the definitive subdivision application. We're seeking 0 waivers as part of the definitive subdivision application. And all zoning issues that are raised with any existing structures on the site, if this project were ever to be built, which is not the intention, would be addressed and could be conditioned as a part of the definitive subdivision approval. Even though it is not the intention to construct this plan, we still need to go through the complete process and go through engineering. We would ask that this be sent to engineering for review, not just for the definitive subdivision to make sure we're in conformance with the plans, but also to ensure that we're in compliance with your stormwater regulations. So we would ask that the board send that out to engineering, and we're also listen to any comments the board has this evening.
Thank you. Bob?
No, I really have no comment. I was astonished at how many pages it took to document what is basically almost a fictitious development
Exercise,
to
yeah.
protect zoning. But I will say I was also impressed by the thoroughness of the package and the fact that it does document the generation of 10 vehicle trips a day out on Powers Road.
Joni?
Yeah, no, I hear what Bob said. It's a great package, but just a free zoning is great.
Dylan?
No comments or questions.
Darren?
Nope, given the detail, all set.
I'll open it up to the audience. Any comments?
I did have one comment from Matt Waterman, I think. Whoever did the ladder apparatus turning diagram, I was a little confused by the path of the bumper and the front and the rear wheel. I think they got reversed somehow.
We can certainly check that. I know sometimes they're in our plan set, and sometimes they're in our supplemental data report under the traffic. I can't remember where we put that, but we could certainly.
You have, it appears that, I thought the vehicle should be going counterclockwise, not clockwise on that circle. Maybe I'm wrong. It's fine, it doesn't matter. It's
No,
just,
we can certainly check and make sure. I mean, that was one of the things that we did, was kind of flip that circle to keep the primary traffic going like as it is today with that
Okay.
turnaround.
oh, okay.
Meeting the, you know, the.
Maybe it just would be
requirements
useful
of the
to
subdivision.
indicate the direction of travel on the,
Yep, we can
traffic
certainly do
on the
that.
circle. But otherwise, as I say, I'm very impressed with the thoroughness of this.
All right, I'll go to the audience. Any questions, comments out there?
Good evening. I'm Lynn Smithwood. I own the only house on Powers Road that isn't part of all these new developments. My only question
Oh,
is,
just your name and address?
Lynn Smithwood, 91 Powers Road.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So my only question is the lot that they took out, the lot that was going to be on the hill?
No, the location of this is down on the flat, right at the entrance where it's currently an existing overflow parking.
Right, so there's one there, and then there's one between my house and that building, correct?
No, just one new lot, which is this shown in the middle of that.
So
plan.
where was the second house? Where's the second
There
house?
was in the preliminary application, but we
Okay.
removed that from this application.
Perfect. And then the only other, so it will only be where he's parking if they ever do this?
Correct.
Okay, because the only other thing I want to raise is I grew up in this 300-year-old house, and out in that field are endangered yellow spotted and blue spotted lizards. So this past several years, I've been restoring this old house, and the lizards have come in my house. So I know that there still are at least the yellow, I haven't seen a blue spotted one in a couple years, but, so I just want to raise that, you know, I know everything in that neighborhood is being developed, and the animals have nowhere to go, and I would hope that we can keep some of that land because they're endangered.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Dave Greenwood. I am not a Westford resident. I am the union president for the Westford firefighters. I do have a few questions for the planning board, not specifically on this project, but projects in general, and I wasn't quite sure the right form or mechanism to reach out to you guys for these questions. So
Okay, so what you could do is you could talk to Mr. Jenowitz after the meeting.
Yeah.
We can get a discussion items and
Okay.
get it on a meeting, we can put it on an agenda.
Okay, so that would be the plan. We'd have to schedule an agenda and do all that. Okay.
Yep.
All right, I will work on that with him. And then my only other ask is, would the board consider issuing a moratorium on new construction in Westford until such time as the town planner, the town manager, and the select board can meet and come up with a plan to address public safety deficiencies, needs, and concerns?
Again, I think that would be a discussion item you could bring before us and
Okay.
get it on the agenda.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Any other questions on this application? All right, seeing none, I see staff suggest a March meeting. Attorney Robbins?
Yeah, I would think that engineering is busy right now, so we want to give them the applicable time to get.
And what's
whatever
that date on
we do.
that?
March 2nd?
March 2nd, yes, and then if, I think the board still has a little bit more time to act, but should engineering need a little bit more time, we'd happily give the extension of time to act.
All right, terrific. Unless the board has anything else, we'll get a motion to continue this to 7 o'clock this room on March 2nd.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time.
General business, none. We have review the draft minutes. Give me a motion to approve the minutes effective for December 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No comments.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We did have correspondence to note. The League of Women Voters had suggested to us that we consider hybrid meetings. That may be something we could put on a future discussion item. But wanted to acknowledge we did get that. It was included in the package. Anybody have anything else?
In talking with the League of Women Voters, I guess the school committee does this, but it probably would be important, maybe at the start of each meeting, we just announce that all the materials we discuss are available online in a meeting packet in addition to the agenda.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
This has come about because with people considering candidacies for the different boards, I don't think everybody was so aware of how much information we, members of the boards, receive ahead of the meeting. And they are not aware that that's actually what we're talking to, not necessarily what's on the screen behind us. So
Good point, Bob.
anyways, that's all.
Go ahead, Diane.
Diane Wood, 122 Depot. So understood that you received the email, which is great. So then my next question is, when will it be discussed?
We'll have to talk about that when we'll put it on the agenda. I'm not sure when we'll get to that. But you know, we did receive it, and something we'll look to in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? No. Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.